Anyway, kind of like my advice to anybody starting hormones, just be patient with them because Rome is not going to be built in a day. Your results are not going to be built in a day. Your results are not going to be built in a night. There's a lot of things that you can learn to do while you're on hormones, like kind of study the techniques of women or men, whatever gender that you're transitioning into, incorporate like, the skincare, learn makeup techniques, learn different things while you're transitioning because it's going to be a long period of time. It's going to be a while before you really kind of max out or see the results that you want to see. And then one day you'll be sitting here like me going, I can't believe 12 years has already passed by and I've been on the stuff that long because it's going to pass by before you know it. So just a little bit of advice to you. Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning into this topic here on Bambi. I know a lot of you girls out there like to put timelines out of like your 1 year in hormones or your 8 months or your 6 months. So today I'm going to do a timeline of 12 years in hormones. So sit back, relax, and just enjoy the discussion of kind of a girl who's been there, who's taken them for a long period of time, who's been on hormones since it's going on 12 years. And I'll be able to explain some of the changes and whatnot that I've physically, mentally, and emotionally endured here on Bambi. First and foremost, of course, as you know, I got half naked to be on this camera to come out here for you all so that I could kind of show some of more like of the physical results, of course, that I've achieved from 12 years of hormones. But before I kind of go into the physical results, because that's just kind of part of the transition, I kind of want to go into some of like the more mental and emotional states of being that you do go through in transition, because I feel like that is so much more important than just the physical. The physical, you get the physical along with it, but in the beginning, and I'm going to say in the beginning, your first several years in hormones, you're basically changing more mentally and emotionally than you are anything else. Yes, the physical part comes along with it, but really what's going to happen is it's going to match your mental and emotional first. So mentally and emotionally, you're changing more than you are physically in the beginning of your transition, because transition it can get very, very frustrating. As you see now, I don't really like to wear a lot of makeup because it does so much more than just grow your breasts and grow your hips and grow your rear end. It softens your skin up to where you don't really have to wear a lot of makeup, of course. But in the beginning parts of transition, I have to say that you're kind of back in puberty. So mentally, you're going back to like you were when you were 12. So you're going to have a lot of breakdowns. You're going to have a lot of times where you just feel like you're losing your fucking mind. You're going to go through mood swings like you've never heard before. You're going to get impatient. You're going to cry a lot. You're going to break down. You're going to feel like it's the end of the world. The smallest problem is going to seem like the biggest problem on earth. You're going to kind of enjoy more like of drama because girls like a lot of drama, and you'll find yourself even starting to kind of get crushes on some of the boys. Maybe if you didn't like boys before, if you start estrogen therapy after several years, you may find your feelings starting to change towards male. So you're going to go kind of like through emotional roller coaster. You're going to kind of face a lot of different emotions at a lot of times. Think of going through pregnancy, puberty, and menopause all at the same time. Then you're pretty much facing transition. So I want to say like the first beginning part of it, okay, the first several years of it, personally from my experience, what I endured the emotional and the mental roller coasters of hormones. I started to physically develop a little bit, but it was more like after like my 5th year on hormones where I kind of started to see some of the physical results. Of course, my physical results didn't really begin. And I'm not saying that they're maxed out by any far stretch of the means because I'm still developing. I'm still growing. This is kind of like a lifelong process. This is not something that you just kind of endure and then it's done. This is something that you spend kind of like the rest of your life transitioning in. Your hair will get softer, your features will get softer. The feminizing part is extremely painful, especially like when you're growing your breast. And like if you can tell now, like I've grown so much in my breast, I don't even have enough room to fit any more titty in this little corset that I have. So that's another really cool thing, is that when you are finished developing, you won't have to pad your bras anymore. You won't even really have to wear padded bras. You'll have enough breasts to fill your stuff out. And that's why I kind of tell girls that are in transition, if you're patient enough and you wait long enough, you probably won't even need to get implants because your breasts will grow. The interesting part with breasts is that they don't sit perfectly like you think that they're going to. They kind of they'll drop a little bit or they'll sag a little bit like they do on any natural woman. So they don't have that perfect sit like silicone or like implants have. So they have this very natural fall to them. Your waistline is also going to change. Like I know that like my waist definitely now, you know, curves in. So I got like that curve in, kind of cover my booty up a little bit. Can't wear skirts as short as I used to. Can't wear shorts as short as I used to. So again, you get the curves in time, but this is several years after you've spent on therapy. This is not something that's quick. This is not something that's right away, and it's certainly not instant result. I personally, to max out my results, took estrogen and progesterone injections. The things that you're going to still have to do when you're in transition, to me, it's bullshit that your voice does eventually soften up. I believe from the estrogen, that it softens some kind of vocal cords. I like, and this is again, this is not in the beginning part of your transition. This is several years down the line. But again, if you feel like your voice is really, really off, then go and get voice lessons. It's not going to rid of your facial hair. You're going to have to, I've done electrolysis personally. You're going to have to get rid of your facial hair. It's not going to rid of your facial hair. It will make it come in finer, but it's not going to rid of it. So you're still going to have to get rid of your facial hair. It's going to make makeup going a whole lot smoother and a whole lot softer. You won't have to wear nearly as much makeup. Your hair is going to grow a whole lot faster. You won't have to wax your eyebrows as much. I did kind of notice that. Let's get into kind of some real deal talk too. Your sex drive is like going to diminish to nothing. I'm going to keep that real with you. If it is not going to be what you fantasized it to be. I know a lot of you girls go out here and you're like, oh, I want to have sex as a woman. I want to experience an orgasm as a woman. I'm telling you right now that when you go into estrogen therapy, it's going to diminish your sex drive and you're probably not even going to have any interest in sex anymore. Like it completely, I mean, I'll be honest with it, diminished mine to the point where it's like, take it or leave it, could care less, bye. And it does that to a lot of girls. So just kind of take that into consideration if you plan on transitioning with hormone therapy, that it does diminish a sex drive. It will give you everything that you asked for. It will feminize your legs. It will give you some hoochoo hoocha. It will give you some hips. It will give you some booty. It will give you some soft skin. It's going to feminize you from head to toe. You won't have to pad anything anymore. And the really rewarding part of it is like then you can just wake up and just be like you just are, like you just exist and you just are, like you just. So again, you know, as I give this advice to you, I recommend that for the first several years you go to a doctor and then take more or less the herbal regimens if that's the plan that you plan to do. Thanks for tuning into this topic here on my 12 years on hormones, kind of like what I've experienced. Like I said in the beginning, the first parts of it is mental, emotional, and then you kind of transition slowly physical, kind of years and years later on. Anyway, if you like our discussion, make sure that you tune in more for Bambi, and I appreciate each and every one of you following the show. www.facebook.com/Bambi Show is where you find me on Facebook. I can't wait to have another talk here with you again on Bambi. And I hope it's very soon.